Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Wednesday, January 21st. Ian Cameron with you. Alex is getting something delivered to his place, but he'll be here right after that in just a moment. And Perlo will be here a little bit later in the show as well. We're here to talk about the Wednesday NHL card. We've got 6 games on tap for this Wednesday in NHL action on the heels of a very busy Tuesday and another great Ice Guys live betcast last night. Very fun, very enjoyable. We thank everybody who made it a great betcast, who joined us on the screen during the betcast live. It was great to get the betcast schedule rolling for 2026. And a reminder, 2 betcasts next week coming for Patreon exclusive, for Patreon members exclusively. So next week, we're going to have 2 live betcasts for Patreon members only. So again, we must stress this, that patreon.com/iceguys. If you enjoyed last night's monthly free-for-all betcast open to everybody, then next week you'll want to be signed up. You want to be a Patreon Ice Guys member to have access to our exclusive live betcasts, 2 of them next week for Patreon members. So make sure you get on board. $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. And, of course, in addition to that, you'll get the daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day, goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content when we have it. So, again, all the more reason to get on board, patreon.com/iceguys. Again, just $10 per month. And we have those 2 live betcasts next week coming for our Patreon members. So if you enjoyed the free-for-all betcast last night, make sure you get on board at patreon.com/iceguys. I mean, really lots to recap, but I'll be try to be as quick as possible. It's never easy for me, as you know, but try to be as quick as possible here with looking back on last night. Just rapid fire at what we saw on the ice. Montreal 4-3 win against Minnesota. This was heartbreaking for us draw bettors. It was kind of good, bad, and ugly. The good was we actually won the over in that game. The good was I actually hit Cole Caulfield to get the next goal in that game at 12-1 live during the betcast, and he gets the goal. But we were hoping that goal would be in overtime, not at the end of regulation. And unfortunately, it prevented us from cashing the draw as well. But Cole Caulfield with the heroics late in the third period, and the Montreal Canadiens get a 4-3 win over the Minnesota Wild. Undefeated no more in the Rick Bowness era. Columbus loses 4-1 to Ottawa. Really solid performance in net from James Reimer. Let's give him credit. It's been a long time since Ottawa's gotten a stable goaltending performance. They did finally get one last night from James Reimer. 4-1 Ottawa win there. Tampa Bay, pretty workmanlike against San Jose, but we did hit San Jose goal in the first period. Alex had San Jose, Tampa, both teams to score in the first period. That was a good result for Alex early in that game. And that was all she wrote. It was 1-1 after the first, and Tampa rolling to a 4-1 victory after that over the San Jose Sharks. The Dallas Stars slumping mightily. They needed a good performance, and boy, they got one. Pretty complete effort, dominating most of that game. 6-2 win over the Boston Bruins. And shout out to Matt Robinson, best bet, and Justin putting on the Ritz. Justin Ritzkovian comes through with his bargain bin special of the night for the Odessa. So again, another night with at least one bargain bin special winner from one of us on the show, which is great to see. Buffalo, great bounce back after the tough loss to Carolina, and they had lost 2 in a row because they lost to Minnesota at home before that. But like I said, 5-3 the final score for the Buffalo Sabres. That was a great game for me. I had Buffalo money line, team total over by Fecta. It all hit in that Sabres-Predators game. Nice job by Buffalo. What are they now? 16-4 in their last 20 games. So still an incredible run overall for this Sabres team. 3-1 Winnipeg over St. Louis. Nice workmanlike effort from the Jets after a couple of losses in a row. St. Louis still can't buy a win on the road. I think that's 6 or 7 now, actually. I think it's 7 straight road losses now for the St. Louis Blues, and they end up losing 3-1 there. New Jersey, great win for them on the road. Great performance from Jake Allen. Edmonton was not great. We were on late during the betcast. They looked like they were lacking a little pop last night, the Oilers, but you give the Devils credit. And they end up getting a 2-1 win over the Oilers in that game. And Rangers Kings, we shit on this game that it was one of the games to wrap up the betcast yesterday, but it ended up being a little more entertaining than we thought. And the LA Kings get a 4-3 win over the New York Rangers, spoiling the return of Jonathan Quick to LA against his former team. Just so many issues with the Rangers. I did bet the Rangers plus money. It was more fading the Kings as a bigger favorite, which has been working, but it is the Rangers, and obviously they weren't able to get it done. The defensive blunders continue to just plague this Rangers team. How the hell do you get scored right off a face-off on one of those goals? It was ridiculous. I think it was the Fiala goal, just falling asleep right off a face-off in the defensive zone. How the fuck happened? Terrible stuff with the New York Rangers there. But Alex, what was not terrible was another fun night with our friends there on the Betcast.
No, it was a wonderful night, the Betcast. And like I said, we started off hot and heavy, especially with that San Jose Tampa game. First goal, first period was Sharks cashing in with both teams to score in the first period, also getting enough time to get that first period over. I mentioned on the Daily Show, we got that at minus $1.20. I think some people even got that at plus money. So that was a real nice start to the Betcast. Like I said, had a tough loss with that. I was actually taking a shot with Quinn Hughes to get the goal in overtime. Had Minnesota-Montreal made it past regulation, already like that draw pregame. But he said, 15 seconds left. That's going to happen when you bet some of these draws. Sometimes you're going to have a goal beat you in the final minute or the final seconds in regulation. And that it sucks to happen. But like I said, it's few and far between. And that was a big win for Montreal, like I said, to snap that streak that they'd had just been dreadful against Minnesota for years and years now. But to get that win and get some momentum rolling on their side. Same thing with Dallas. That's a big momentum win that they needed. That's a team that had been slumping mightily. We said, they're putting themselves behind the 8 ball. You want to try and keep pace. You're not going to be able to try and keep pace with Colorado. But at least to keep that second spot, try and keep home ice as long as you can when you've got teams like Utah and Minnesota fighting and nipping at your heels. So that was a big win and like I said, a way to build some momentum for Dallas moving forward.
No doubt. Absolutely. All right, let's get into the Wednesday card. Perlo said he'll be joining us in progress, so he'll be along in a moment as well. Let's get it going with it's a good matchup. It's the first game of the TNT Wednesday night doubleheader, and it's a big one. In the Atlantic Division, the Detroit Red Wings and Toronto Maple Leafs. We've got Toronto minus 120, home favorites, 6 the total here in this game. I think when you look at this matchup, the first thing that stands out is, well, Detroit's playing well. They're winning games in bunches. They're scoring a lot of goals. They've had the number of the Toronto Maple Leafs this year, 3-0 this season for the Detroit Red Wings against the Toronto Maple Leafs in head-to-head matchups. I guess the big question is, what changes here tonight with this success the Red Wings have had? And, of course, they enter this game 6-1 in their last 7 games. So they're in good form. They've won all 3 meetings against Toronto this season, 2 of them in October, one of them in overtime right before the end of the calendar year, 2025. The question's going to be what changes here. First of all, I don't want to step in front of Detroit. They've won 6 of 7. They've beaten Toronto all 3 times, and I'm not going to bet against Detroit tonight, but I don't want to bet against Toronto either, and I have a feeling Toronto's going to play well tonight. They fell victim to that, always a tough spot for most teams in this league, coming off 4-game road trip, 5th game in 8 days. They played 3 overtime games on that road trip. We talked about it, obviously, the other day with the Leafs, and they had no gas in the tank, and you could tell they were stuck in mud. They just couldn't get anything going Monday night against the Minnesota Wild, and they end up losing that game by a score of 6-3. They actually did have a good finish to that game. I like that they didn't quit. They were down big in that game, 5-1, but they didn't roll over. They got it to 5-3, and they actually got a chance to pull the goalie, and then Marcus Foligno with the hat trick goal to put it away into the empty. I like that they didn't roll over in that game. And I also know that Joseph Woll's a good bounce-back goalie. He got pulled. I don't think you can blame him for every goal against Minnesota, but I also know he could play better. And he probably knows he could play better. And I would expect Joseph Woll to play much better tonight. He's been a good bounce-back goaltender for this Toronto Maple Leafs team. So I have a feeling he could have a good game tonight. Now, John Gibson will get the start here for the Detroit Red Wings in this game. What's fascinating about the games between the Leafs and the Red Wings this season is the fact that in all 3 wins, I'm pretty sure Cam Talbot was in net. Yes. So this is a bit of a roll of the dice here for Todd McLellan. Yes, John Gibson has been your better goaltender lately, but the Leafs have not faced him yet, and he has not faced the Leafs yet this season. Those 3 wins that Detroit got against Toronto were all Cam Talbot starts. And I know right now Gibson's playing better than Talbot. Gibson's the number 1 guy. He's been excellent, obviously, since the beginning of December. One of the better records and goal save percentage, stats in the league since that December 1st date is for John Gibson. But it's interesting that Todd McLellan would maybe not consider Cam Talbot here in this spot. So that's an interesting move, considering he's the guy that was in net for those 3 victories for Detroit against Toronto. We have seen, as far as over/under, 5-4-1 in the last 10 meetings. Detroit's been, a pretty strong, for the most part, they've been a pretty strong over team. Only twice in their last, looks like 7 games have they gone below 6 goals. Toronto's on a crazy over streak again, 5 straight. Played in a lot of those higher scoring barn burners against on the road trip. They obviously, struggled defensively against Minnesota. I don't know. My first thought was over here, and I kind of talked myself out of that. I could see actually the Leafs, and all the talk from Craig Berube after the Minnesota game is we got to get back to our structure. We got to get back to being a connected 5-man unit on the ice, and that screams we need to fix our defense. So whether Toronto is able to fix that defense and keep Detroit off the scoreboard is a different matter entirely. But it's got me concerned enough about taking the over here in this game. Maybe a live, if I find 5.5 live, maybe I'll get in on the over at that number, but I'm not going to bet it pregame. The only bet for me here is the draw pregame. I think this could be overtime. We saw overtime between the Red Wings and Leafs in December when they played each other. It's also worth noting 2 of the last 4 meetings here in Toronto between these division rivals have also gone past regulation. So I do like this draw here with the Red Wings and the Leafs tonight. I think there's a decent chance we could see this be a 3-point game, and we could end up seeing some overtime hockey. As far as props go, Matthews with 3 straight games with a goal. Alex DeBrincat, 2 straight games with a goal. Those are worth. James Van Riemsdyk's worth a look. He scored in 4 of the last 10 games. He's a former Leaf. So you got the former player angle involved here with James Van Riemsdyk. I think looking toward him to score a goal here tonight for Detroit is worth a shot as well. William Nylander, by the way, does remain out of the lineup here for Toronto going into this game tonight. There was some hope that he would be able to return, but not going to be the case. So he remains out. We'll miss yet another game here for the Leafs tonight. Is there anything else on Detroit that I'd be looking at as far as a goal prop? Maybe Casper, because again, he stays on the top line with Larkin and Raymond. But at some point, it's almost like the friendly betting ghost, as we call him, Marco Casper, kind of has to show me that he's ready to step up. Now, he does have 3 points in the last 2 games, and he did score against San Jose. So maybe it's a sign that he's getting more comfortable being up there with Dylan, Larkin, the captain, and with obviously Lucas Raymond, that I'd be willing to take a shot. I'd be willing to take a small bet on Marco Casper, being able to find the back of the net here. And again, you are getting a pretty good price on that here as well going into this game. All right, next up on the slate, that's the first TNT game, as I mentioned. Next up, we've got Anaheim, Colorado. Colorado minus 300, home favorites, minus 310 in some spots, 6.5 the total here in this game. Systems in play. We got this minus 300 favorite against a big underdog, and the big underdog scores a goal in the opening period of these games more often than not. We cashed with it last night, this very same angle, the system with San Jose facing minus 300 Tampa Bay last night, and they were able to get on the board in the opening period. So, and with the Anaheim now and a little bit of confidence, a little swagger, a little pep in their step after that 9-game losing streak. They've now won 3 games in a row, beating Dallas, beating LA in back-to-back games. A little confidence coming back here for the Anaheim Ducks. And what's impressive about the wins for Anaheim is they've had to do it without some key personnel. I mean, they've been without Troy Terry and Leo Carlson now for a little bit. And those 2 guys remain out here for the Ducks tonight. So, and yet still been able to get 3 wins and be able to bounce back after that 9-game losing streak, which has been good to see. And I think you could see that momentum ride its way here into this game. Let's keep in mind, too, with this Avs team, I'm just looking at their results lately. We talk about how this is the system. This is the -300 favorite, and we like the dog to get on the board in the first period of these games. And that, from that standpoint, this bet on Anaheim to get a goal in the first period does make sense. With it being, I think, -138 is what I'm seeing at Pinnacle. So you can bet that pregame. If you're even, looking for a slightly better price on that, you could wait a little bit for it. But I'm going to take it pregame -138, Anaheim to score in the first period. Not only is the system dictate that is something you should look at, but let's look at Colorado, the last few home games they've played. Other than the shutout that they had against the Columbus Blue Jackets, the last 3 home games, they've allowed the opposition to get on the board in the first period. Toronto got a first period goal in Colorado. Nashville got 2 against Colorado. And even in the bounce back win against Washington on MLK Day, Washington got on the board in the first period. So the Avalanche have been conceding and yielding first period goals to the opponent here in their last 3 home games. So, yeah, I like Anaheim to score in the first period. I'm going to have a small bet on the over by Fecta pregame because it probably should have goals. Colorado first period overs are crazy hot again. Like, it's been a great run of first period overs lately in Colorado games at home. The Washington game flew over in the first. The Nashville game flew over the total in the first. The Toronto-Colorado game went over the total in the first period. Obviously, before that, Colorado-Ottawa. The Columbus game didn't, but the Ottawa home game did before that as well. So, like I said, I think it's over by Fecta. It's very pricey, so I'm only going to bet it small now. Could always wait to see if I get a better price with both the first period over and the full game over in game here tonight. Alex, by the way, Alex is back with us. I just want to give him a chance to talk Detroit-Toronto too as well. What do you think here, Red Wings Leafs TNT?
I bet the over 6. I got -$1.18 at BetMGM earlier this morning. Just liking goals back and forth. Nothing on the side. Don't like a draw here.
Yeah, I initially leaned over too. I'm just worried about Wool off a start where he gets pulled, that he plays better, but I could see it. I could see goals. I could see 3-1. I could see goals. I could see it both ways here in this game. I like the draw. I took the draw with the Red Wings and Leafs. We did see overtime the last time they met, but that's a good TNT game to get the night started. All right, Alex, Anaheim, Colorado.
Yeah, I was going to look at Colorado. I mentioned this on the betcast last night. Colorado first goal of first period, but like I said, you see it now -125, 130. And now that you're at the -300 range, which we cashed for yesterday, was now 11-14, where the team that's a underdog gets a goal in the first period against a team that's favored -300 or higher. So would look for Anaheim to get a goal in game, try and wait a few minutes, try and get that at plus money, just first period team total over. But pregame, I like goal in first 5 minutes. Plus 150. We've been cashing with those left and right with the Avs at home. And also like both teams to score in the first period, plus 158. Everything else first period over. Anaheim to score in the first period. We can wait for that live in game. I also have a bargain bin from this contest as well.
Good stuff. Oh my gosh. FanDuel. If I was just going to say FanDuel has Anaheim to score in the first period -122. Oh, that's definitely a better price than the -1. Pinnacle gets beaten by FanDuel. Wow,
yeah.
That doesn't happen every day, where you got a better price at FanDuel than Pinnacle with something. But there you have it.
I'll add that pregame now. -122 pregame. That's fair. Anything else you have, if you're at another book, then try and wait for it in game.
Yeah, no doubt. And same thing. Like, I only have a small piece of the over by Fecta because look, the 1.5 is like -160 or 70 in some spots, and then even the over 6.5 in this game, it's juiced to -140 now in some spots. In fact, BetMGM's moved the total to 7, so that tells you all you need to know about how pricey the first and full game over are here in this game. Perlo, what do you welcome in first of all? Perlo, Detroit, Toronto first for you. What did you like there?
I've been riding in Detroit, and I'm gonna keep riding them. I think I just like the way they're rolling right now. I don't have much on it because this is that second game back for Toronto after having a 5, but it's still a lot of games for Toronto, and Detroit's got a lot of rest. So I think Detroit is going to win this game. I do have both teams to score in the first period, though. I do think Toronto is going to come out hard, and I think Detroit is also, it's going to be a back and forth game, like you guys were saying. And I got a little bit on the draw, plus 300. So I guess I would take Detroit -1. You got to remember to do that. Detroit -1 and the draw is what I like. And I like Gibbs. One thing Toronto has been doing a lot lately that they weren't before is shooting. And that's one of the reasons why I like Detroit here. I just think Gibson is still playing extremely well, and he's only 23.5. I still think it's going to be a tight contest. So I think there will be a lot of shots from Toronto, and I think that's a pretty low number. So I like Gibson over saves in that one. For the Colorado game, I got the over 2 in the first period at plus 145. I think
that's an option too. You could just go straight to betting over 2 at plus money instead of the 1.5. Yep.
Yeah. I took that. If I get the push, that's fine. But my favorite play, again, I'm going to go back to this again. The Avalanche are an amazing second period team. And I'm taking the -1 at plus 140 for the second period in this game. And I had the over. I got it at -130. I still think this is going to be an over, so I took the over 6.5.
One prop I like in this game for Anaheim, heating up. I'm trying to shop around, see what the best price is with him, but he's someone that, look, someone's got to still, like, other players have to step up for Anaheim. They do have a couple key absences up front, Troy Terry and of course Leo Carlson. And it certainly hurts them a little bit. So you need the other forwards to step up. One person that has is, as my grandpa used to call him, incorrectly, that is, Fred McTavish. Fred McTavish has really stepped up lately for Anaheim. Mason McTavish, I am talking about. Actually, you know what? He called Craig McTavish that, not Mason. But every time I think of McTavish, I think of when my grandpa always thought Craig McTavish was Fred McTavish. He had bad hearing, plus he was Greek Macedonian. He spoke broken English. So from that standpoint, he always misheard some things. I remember Sunil Joshi on the Sportscast. He'd say Samuel Gachi. It wasn't the same. It's just that's what you got from him. But he always said Fred McTavish, Craig McTavish. But Mason McTavish has scored in back-to-back games here for the Anaheim Ducks, and plus 290 at most spots. So we're not there with bargain bin pricing on him, but close, damn close. Still a pretty good price for Mason McTavish for the Anaheim Ducks here tonight to find the back of the net. Lehkonen, Natchez with McKinnon flanking him are always worth a shot here, in my opinion, as far as props are concerned. It's very interesting is that they've got the younger Makar, Taylor Makar, it looks like, in the lineup. Here once again back in the lineup here for Colorado. He got recalled from the AHL Colorado team, and it looks like Taylor Makar is going to be on the fourth line here tonight for the Colorado Avalanche in this game. So all in the family with the Avs tonight. The Makar brothers both looking like they're going to be in the lineup here for their respective teams. All right, next up, Philadelphia, Utah. Utah -170, home favorites, 6 the total in this game. So we were feasting on Philly overs. They finally, and Tocchet said that's enough. The Ranger game where they got blitzed early. Kolosov got pulled and Ersson came in. He said, we've got to start games better. We've got to be ready to play better team defensive structure. And boy, did they ever put that on display against the Vegas Golden Knights in their last game. My goodness. Great defense. Probably the best defensive game they've played in eons. They kept the shots low. It was a very low event game. That's what Rick Tocchet's looking for out of this group. And they go into Vegas and they knock off the Vegas Golden Knights in that game. We'll see how they fare here. Can they do it again is the question. Is that just a one-off that they finally said, all right, let's pull up our bootstraps on the defensive end of the ice? Or can they duplicate that here tonight against Utah? This is why this is a live betting game for me, because I want to see it with my own two eyes. If I see Philly loose defensively early in the game and it's more of a pace game early, then maybe I'll jump on a live over. But if Philly is clamping down defensively early and trying to give support to, let's be honest, a goaltender that's been struggling with his confidence in Samuel Ersson for the Philadelphia Flyers, who hasn't had a great season. But why did he play better against Vegas? I'm not convinced it was because he played better. The team insulated him a lot better defensively. They were just played a much better, cleaner, shut down, low event defensive game against the Vegas Golden Knights. And because of that, it makes a guy like Samuel Ersson look better in net. So if they could do that to Vegas, could surely do that to Utah here as well. But I kind of want to see it. So this is a live betting game for me. If Philly looks like they're playing loose early, I like the live over. If Philly falls behind early in this game, then I like the live over, because then they have to open it up all of a sudden because they're trailing. And that could expose Ersson to bit more dangerous chances against. So that is definitely something I'm looking at. This is a live over if I see there's pace early and or if Utah grabs the lead. Because if Utah grabs the lead, Flyers have to push more for offense, and then it could open the game up. But if this game stays tied, low event, and then Philly gets the lead, you could just see this slow to a crawl here in this game, because that's the way they played against Vegas. They got the lead, and it was just take care of the house first and foremost. What do you think here, Alex? Philly, Utah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, especially when you're looking at it, the couple books, FanDuel, DraftKings, that have 5.5s juiced up to 130. If we're seeing the pace, you can now wait and possibly get a 5.5 closer to pick 'em or even money. That's definitely the look that I'll have, like I said, but we got to see where that pace is going first. Like I said, Philly has been a team to try and clamp it down. So if they get to a lead, it would not shock me one bit. Maybe Philly gets out to a 1-0, 2-0 lead, you can get a live under potentially. So there's a couple of different ways to play this, but definitely a live game. This would have been a great game for last night during the betcast.
All right, there you go. Good stuff. Perlo, anything you're liking here with Flyers and Mammoth?
I think if Philly decides to play that way here, and I imagine they will, they're trying to insulate their goaltenders. They're in trouble because Utah has got a type of game that can expose that pretty quick. Not quick, but in this game, I don't see Utah. Vegas probably was a little bit. I don't know what's going on with Vegas. I'm not betting them anymore. I always make a mistake on it, but I've been doing really well with Utah. I like Utah in this game. So I'm taking Utah in regulation. I also have, but I do have the under 1.5 first period. I do think Philly is going to play very tight in the first period. I think Utah might have a little, take a little while for them to be able to figure out the way Philly is playing. It's a very simple collapse game that they're playing, and I against a Utah team that can pass the puck the way they can, I think it's going to eventually collapse on them. And I also am going to take Philadelphia team total under on this game as well, because if you're going to play that way, Utah is like the biggest shot suppression team in the league. One of the top shot suppression teams in the league. So if you're not going to go out there and try to get shots like you need to against them, you're going to have a really hard time scoring against them. So I'm going to take Philadelphia team total under and the under first period. Then I'm taking second period minus 0.5 for Utah. Philadelphia is a terrible second period team. So I think they'll figure it out by the second period and they'll win the second period. So I do like that at plus 135.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what Jonathan's mentioning, because even I bet it the last game, and I fucking despise shots on goal props these days. And I still bet it the last game and it cashed. Mikhail Sergachev for the Utah Mammoth over 1.5 shots on goal. No deep dive needed, but still minus 128 at Patano with that over 1.5 shots on goal. Minus 130 at Bet99, minus 135 at BetMGM. And again, he has gone over that shot prop at home, over 1.5 shots. Sergachev's gone over it, and I think 19 of 20 or 20 of 21, something like that. Like, it's just insane. So
I've been betting it about fifth one in, and it's been like a bankroll play.
Yeah, there it is. 20 of 21 and 10 straight over 1.5 shots on goal for Mikhail. So even I'm betting it now. I'm on the train now, and I hate shots on goal props because I always feel I get screwed. Well, you're not getting screwed on this one because it just keeps on cashing in. But that is a good one, no question. So again, 10 straight and 20 of 21 at home. This is a home trend with Mikhail Sergachev. Mm-hmm. So not saying don't bet it on the road, but definitely be more careful on the road. This is strictly about him at home with this.
Coming from a guy who bets shot props, and that's what I do, this is like the graviest because it never goes – it's always bettable because he doesn't do it on the road.
They don't elevate the prices. Exactly.
So the price stays the same. It's like it's been gravy all year for me. I love that play.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I will say in a positive about shots on goal props. If you can stand the torture of, when they take shots away from you, is you can find home road split shots on goal players.
Yep.
The players that perform
Right,
differently
trends.
with shots on goal, home versus away. And those are the ones that are even less likely. Like if they're just going over their shots every game, home or road, chances are there'll be more likely adjustment happening at some point. But if it's just at home, like in this case with Sergachev, then the adjustment doesn't come, and certainly doesn't come quickly enough. And we're definitely seeing that right now with the Mikhail Sergachev shots on goal prop right now. Like I said, 20 of 21 at home have gone over 1.5. It's pretty crazy and excellent. As far as props in this game, just a couple for me that I wanted to mention for Philadelphia here in this game. Bobby Brinks on the second line, getting an opportunity. I'd maybe consider that direction there with him getting that chance. I'm still Lawson Krause. Yeah, absolutely. As far as the Utah man, and maybe Michael Carcone too, because he scored a few goals on this homestand. We've talked about Carcone kind of doing a little bit more offensively. So those are a couple of the props I'd be looking at here for the Mammoth in this one. All right, next up, Pittsburgh-Calgary. Pittsburgh minus 120 road favorite, 6 the total in this game. Give me the Penguins here. I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I mean, I can't believe I'm doing that. What's wrong with Ian Cameron? Are you kidding me? Is he all right? Is he under the weather? He's betting Pittsburgh 2 games in a row? Yes, I am. I took him against Seattle on the Martin Luther King Day game. Now, some of that was bad spot for the Seattle Kraken coming home off the long road trip. But I did cash with Pittsburgh in that game against Seattle. They got the job done. I think Calgary's kind of fade material right now, post Rasmus Anderson trade. And we saw it. They could only muster 1 goal. They lose 2-1 to the New Jersey Devils a couple of nights ago in that game. So I'd argue, Jonathan, for a team that's actually been pretty much better defensively the last few weeks, Pittsburgh, that no Letang and Carlson makes them an even better defensive team. I'll be honest. I think so. I truly do. As far as them not playing here for the Pittsburgh Penguins, I don't think that's going to make it any easier for the Calgary Flames to score goals here tonight in this game. With Carlson's always been a defensive liability. Letang can't defend like he used to. So if those guys are out, I think it actually makes them better defensively. Skinner is going to be a net here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dustin Wolf here for Calgary going into this game. So I think the price is cheap. And don't underestimate the revenge angle here, which sometimes revenge is a little overrated. But Pittsburgh kind of blew it at home against Calgary. They had an opportunity to beat them. That was Devin Cooley that got the start in that game for the Flames. And the Flames went into Pittsburgh and beat them by a score of 2-1. So I think Pittsburgh maybe gives them a little payback here. And I continue to say it. We like Wolf, but oftentimes he's been outdone this year by Cooley. And Pittsburgh will not see Cooley again, the guy that beat them a few weeks ago in Pittsburgh. It will be Dustin Wolf. So I think I'll get in on the Penguins here. It's the only bet here for me, minus 115 to minus 120 in that range. Alex, anything here for you? Penguins, Flames.
Yeah, small plays split between Penguins money line minus $1.20 and minus $1.18. You can get with a flat 3 on that team total over. Like I said, Calgary's defense without Rasmus Anderson, I think, is going to look like they did kind of the beginning of the season, whether it's Wolf or Cooley in net. I'll be looking to back some Flames opponents' team totals over, but I'm going to split it with the Penguins money line here.
It's worth noting, too, Pittsburgh's been good under Dan Muse on the road this year. In his first year, their road record's actually pretty solid, 12-7-4. They actually have more road wins than home wins this year, the Pittsburgh Penguins. So we'll see if they can put another road W on the board here tonight in Canada's version of Cowtown. What do you think here, Perlo, Pittsburgh, Calgary?
I'm right with you. I like Pittsburgh. I didn't even think about the team total over. I might put something on that too, but I think it's going to be hard to take Calgary now after that Anderson trade. There's a lot of talk about other players moving and stuff like that. And I think Pittsburgh's still the more driven team in this game. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh. And I'm going to go back to my best bet last time I was on was Cooley over saves. It's not going to be my best bet, but I'm going to go to Wolf over saves. Pittsburgh has been shooting a ton. It's 25.5. It's not my favorite play. But without Anderson there, it's going to be hard for them to move the puck out of the zone. I think Pittsburgh will get a lot of shots. And even if they do happen to score 3 or 4, I think they'll get 30 to 33 shots in this game. And Wolf will hold the fort enough to get over that 25.5. So I like that.
All right, great stuff. As far as props go, for me, Ricard Raquel has scored in back-to-back games for the Penguins going into this game. So there's a little something to keep an eye on, playing with Crosby and Russ. Shinikov, Ben Kindle, Brazo. Here's one I'll throw out there, too, for Pittsburgh that are worth consideration. This is courtesy of Cuban Wayne Gretzky, one of our longtime viewers and listeners, because he's mentioned this guy before. And he's actually cashed. He showed me tickets to him cashing goal props with this guy. And he did the last game again for Pittsburgh. I think he scored against Seattle. Connor Dewar. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Connor Dewar for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He's actually scored in 4 of the last 10 games for them entering this one. And he scored against Seattle in their last game. He's in the plus 800 range to score a goal tonight. I think it's worth a sprinkle. It's worth a little small shot there on Connor Dewar, given the percentages. Like 40% in the last 10 games means plus 800 does show value for Connor Dewar of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yeah, plus 800. You can find that price with him at DraftKings right now. So, like I said, that's worth a shot. That is worth putting a couple bucks on here in this one. All right, we got 2 games left. The next one is the second game of the TNT doubleheader. And let's be honest, on paper, doesn't quite pop like Detroit-Toronto does, the first game of the doubleheader, but it is the second game. Islanders and Kraken. We've got the New York Islanders minus, actually, it's pretty much even money right now, minus 110, both sides, 5.5 the total here in this game. I think it's cheap on the Islanders, and I am going to bet the Islanders here, but this is one of these Alex B. Smith specials where I like the Islanders. I think I like this draw a little bit even more. I mean, it's classic situation here. Seattle plays a lot of close games. Seattle's going to want to tighten up after the loss to Pittsburgh, that bad spot off the road trip. They'll look to play a little low and slow, tighten it up in this game, and I think it'll be competitive. Not to mention the Islanders, bad Vancouver team. It's not like they blew the doors off them. They had to hang on at the end and win 4-3. So it's not like we totally trust the Islanders to just, roll into Seattle and just beat the brakes off this team. So I think the draw is a really good look here. Our old friends, the Thailanders, in action. Give me the draw here. I will be on the Islanders as well, minus 110, but I think I like this draw just as much, if not more, here in this game. I think it'll end up being an under, but I can't ignore this Seattle first period over trend. It has been very strong, courtesy of Chris Otto's charts. I think it's like 9-2 or something in the last 11 Seattle games. All of a sudden, they've been a first period over magnet here in recent games. So I could see the goals at least coming in this game coming early, but I think it has the chance to slow down a little bit after that. I just want to it is 9-2 run for the Seattle Kraken to the first period over in their last 11 games, and 7 straight first period overs in Seattle Kraken games. So just the first period over for me in this game. Alex, what do you think? Islanders Kraken.
Great minds think alike. I am on the first period over. I got minus $1.20 earlier this morning, as I did with the draw. I played the draw plus 308. I didn't even check Caesars for this, but if you shop at Caesars, you see a better price. Grab that by all means. I grabbed plus 308 over at Bet Online this morning. I also have a bargain bin from this game as well, too. So I have 2, one from that Colorado game, one from this contest.
Yeah, there's definitely some good looks here. I'll tell you one, 3 out of the last 10 he scored. Ben Myers. I mean, you think Ben Myers who, but he's been noticeable for the Kraken. Plus 900, almost 10-1. Might be worth the look there. Tolvanen's been good lately. You can get plus 340 for, and of course we're talking about for the Islanders. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not, you stay the hell away from him. But right now he's on fire and he's streaky as shit. We've talked about him, the Duke, Anthony Duclair for the New York Islanders, and you just got to roll with it right now. He's been scoring lately for the New York Islanders, and when he's scoring, you bet him. When he's ice cold, stay the hell away. That has been the approach, betting goal props with Anthony Duclair in his whole career, because he can get red hot, streaky, and then he could go 20 games without getting a goal. And right now he's on a streak, and he's feeling it. So right now is the time to bet Anthony Duclair goal props for the New York Islanders. Perlo, what do you think? New York Islanders, Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I was on the first period over, but while I was talking to you, I'm trying to figure out what the price is going to be. But I like 1-1 exact score first period. I don't think either one of these teams are going to actually score more than that. So I like 1-1 exact score. I do like the over 1.5 first period in this, and I like the Islanders. I think Seattle Kraken they're in regression now. So I got a little bit. Islanders pick is going to be the lowest of those picks, but I just think they're in regression right now. It is a tough spot for the Islanders. They've been on the road for a long time, but I mean, they have been road warriors, this year. Like, even playing tired, they seem to be able to find it come third period and get it done. So I'm going to take the Islanders in this game, but I do like that 1-1 exact score first period. I was just going to look up what the
price is plus 600, and you can also get first period both teams score plus 210 in this game. I might dabble in that. That's a good awfully high price for both teams to score in the first.
Oh wow, I didn't realize until Jonathan. Look, we talked about Duclair. We know he's been scoring of late, but yeah, well, that is true. Now that I think of it, you're right. These have been some first goals of the game for the Islanders. He's opened the scoring for the Islanders in all 3 of those games, in which he has scored in 3 of the last 4. So that not so much the first goal, because Islanders haven't always scored the first goal, but he's gotten the first Islanders goal. So this could be a spot for, as you see, that Islanders first goal of the game for Duclair at plus 850 there as well. So because he has opened the scoring for them of late, and it is 8 straight first period overs for the Seattle Kraken here entering this game tonight. All right, last game on the board, Washington, Vancouver. We've got the Washington Capitals minus 170, road favorites, 6 the total in this game. Anybody totally buying into the rhetoric of Adam Foote calling out his team and it's going to inspire a win and a great effort tonight? Hands up. Not me. I'm putting my hand down. Not me. Got to see it before I believe it. There's a bad hockey team right now. You can't say there's one good thing that they're doing right now. I know they actually gave a decent effort against the Islanders. I will say that. They got out to a good start. But then once the Islanders kind of took control of that game, that was pretty much all she wrote for the Vancouver Canucks. Kevin Lankinen confirmed once again in goal for them. We expect Logan Thompson here for Washington. Not yet confirmed. Still without Marco Rossi for the Canucks. Demko, of course, still on IR. Philip Hedl is back and skating again, and he could be returning again soon. But like I said, definitely not returning immediately. We'll see how this one plays out here, Capitals and Canucks. We got Washington coming off 3 straight losses, okay? You lost to San Jose. You lost at home 3-2, and Carberry didn't love their game. Florida game 5-2, and Panthers were coming off that 9-1 punking at the hands of Carolina, so they were seething. And basically Capitals, faced a team that was pretty angry again going into that game. And then Colorado, obviously. Colorado, they got an angry team because the Avalanche had lost to Nashville badly in their last home game. So, yeah, they've lost 3 in a row. It doesn't look good when you see a team like Washington lose 3 in a row, but they caught San Jose starting a road trip, looking to get rolling. They caught Florida off one of the worst losses they've suffered in a long time, 9-1 to Washington. And, of course, we saw, or 9-1 to Carolina on the Friday night, and Washington caught them the night after that. And then, of course, they caught Colorado 2 days off after getting beaten by Nashville at home and giving up, 7 goals in that game against Nashville when they lost to the Predators at home. So this has to be hey, we're not taking Vancouver lightly. We're focused. We're dialed in. We need a win. We got to get off the schneid. That's the kind of – so Foote can talk about whatever effort he wants out of his team tonight. I think Washington's bringing an effort here tonight. And if the effort quotient is equal in this game, Washington's going to win this game because they're just flat out the better team. So I'm going to go puck line with Washington in the first period. -0.5, plus 150. Give me that Caps first period puck line, and I will split it with team total over 3.5 at even money for Washington because, look, Canucks opponents have cashed the team total over 7-1 in the last 8 Vancouver games. The opponent has gone over 3.5 goals. Again, that's 7 of the last 8 Vancouver games. The opponent has scored at least 4 goals. So I will go with that team total as well. Split it up with Washington first period puck line. It was always about how the hell am I going to bet Washington in this game when they're a -170 favorite. You have to get creative, and those are the 2 ways I picked. Washington first period puck line and the team total over 3.5. Alex, what do you think here? Capitals, Canucks.
I like that team total over 3.5 at even money with the Capitals, but I also like, as mentioned in the chat, we talked about it last night too. New dad bump for Jacob Chikrin. Anytime goal, you can get him plus 330.
There you go. And that was just recently as well with the new father, Jacob Chikrin. So, like I said, and I believe with Jacob Chikrin too, we have seen him score in there it is. I knew it. Yeah, back-to-back games. I knew it was a consecutive game goal-scoring streak for Jacob Chikrin. Just wasn't sure how many games it was, but it is 2 in a row with a goal for Jacob Chikrin. So all the more reason to think he might be able here to find the back of the net for the Washington Capitals. Perlo, Washington, Vancouver.
Yeah, right there with you. I'm going to take Washington in regulation. I'm not afraid of that. This Vancouver team is just brutal. I'm Foot's got to do what he's got to do. He's paid to do to get the best out of his players as he can.
And you got to bark at them when you're seeing bad play. But the question is the personnel good enough to change things right now?
Yeah. This is a guy that was also like all poo-pooing analytics people and all that kind of stuff like that. He's like trying to pretend that he has a good team, and you're supposed to when you're a coach. You just don't have a good team. That's just it. Also, I'm going to take Lankinen over 24.5 saves, even if they score 5. Like they've allowed 33, 35, 36, 40, 41. Even if they score 5, he goes way over that. I love that Lankinen over saves play. Washington puck line first period, team total over in regulation. This is just a really bad Vancouver team, and that simple as that.
I'm trying to see if this is accurate on RotoWire, but I'm seeing Ovechkin, Nick Dowd, and Ethan Frank as the top line possibly here tonight for the Washington Capitals. If that's the case, definitely Frank, and I know Jonathan's mentioned it in the chat. Definitely Ethan Frank, and we've talked about how he's been starting to pick things up offensively. I'd even give Dowd a shot. Dowd is someone that could, if you give him a top line starting spot, and it looks like he might get that tonight, centering that group. He's got some ability to put a puck in the net. He's shown it in the past. Obviously, it's been sporadic, but in my opinion, he has shown that ability to do that. So if that is indeed going to be the case here tonight, where we've got Nick Dowd centering the top line, he's worth a look. Ethan Frank's definitely worth a look if he's going to be on that right wing side on that top line. So those are some props. There you go. Jackson Kooky, lend me Lacombe, says Jonathan Davis in the Anaheim game. The Olympic bump. You're right, because Lacombe is replacing someone for Team USA at the Winter Olympics. So there you go. Jackson Lacombe maybe gets a bump from that for Anaheim tonight. Facing the Colorado Avalanche. We'll see. But yeah, Ethan Frank, Nick Dowd, props that I'd be interested in here for the Capitals, if indeed they're on the top line as the current lineup configurations would suggest. Ryan Leonard birthday, that's a good, fair point. Yep. Maybe Ryan Leonard, the birthday boy, gets on the board for the Washington Capitals. Here's someone that had a good one in our group chat today, too. I'll mention it before we get to the ads and to Bargain Bin and Best Bets. Robert Carlson in our group chat today, he talked about an interesting angle for a goal prop. It's not one that often I think of or one that I use very often, but he suggested in the, I think it was the Pittsburgh and Calgary game, that there was a player that played against the Calgary Hitmen. Ben Kindle used to play for the Calgary Hitmen in junior, and now he's playing in Calgary tonight. Interesting angle. You're playing again in the city where you played your junior hockey. So for that reason, he said he liked Ben Kindle here for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. So, yeah, very interesting angle for sure. Yeah, he's replacing Seth Jones, Jackson Lacombe in the USA blue line for the Olympics. So congratulations to Jackson Lacombe for that. All right, good stuff. Let's on we go. Patreon.com. Actually, no, WizardSportsPicksFirst.com. Check out the website. Like I said, daily premium picks. Get on board with a long-term subscription as well. 3-day, 30-day. And 1 year all access subscriptions available. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day, 1 year. Check it out. Number one, I am on the website in both NFL and NHL. Make sure you check it out. WizardSportsPicks.com. And of course, as we mentioned earlier, Patreon.com/IceGuys, just $10 per month. We have 2 Patreon exclusive live betcasts next week. So make sure you get on board before then to be part of the betcasts. 2 of them next week for Patreon members. You got goalie charts, totals charts, all the bonus content, plus, of course, the daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. So again, your membership goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So check it out and get on board. Just $10 per month at patreon.com/iceguys.
Also, check out the Ice Guys store at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You've got 5 days left to save 20% off anything in the store. Hit the redeem button at the homepage, add your items to your cart, and 20% will be taken off the checkout. We've got everything in stock right now, from hoodies, mugs, jackets, caps, t-shirts, you name it. We've got it in many designs. So take advantage right now. 5 days left, 20% off. That's at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
There you go. 5 days left. Take advantage of that. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guy sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night, and another night where we have at least one winner in the bargain bin. Matt Robinson delivered for us last night with putting on the Ritz from the Dallas Stars, Justin Ritskovian finding the back of the net. Again, most shows lately, we've got at least one bargain bin in the win column. Let's see if we can find another for tonight. Alex, we'll start with you. Bargain bin special of the night.
Yeah, I've got a pair of them for tonight. First, we'll go to that Anaheim, Colorado game. I like Arturi Lehkonen to score not once, but twice. You can get that plus 1,500 over at FanDuel. That'll be my first bargain bin special. My second one comes from that Islanders-Seattle game. And the guy who's moving up to the second line. In fact, this whole third line is actually being shifted up to the second line. But I like Simon Holmstrom. Get him anytime goal, plus 370 to score for the Islanders. So that's Arturi Lehkonen, 2 goals for Colorado. Simon Holmstrom, 1 goal, plus 370 for the Islanders. Those are my 2 bargain bin specials for this Wednesday night.
Don't forget, the last time Alex had over 1.5 goals or 2+ goals, depending on how you say it, with a bargain bin, it was Cutter Gauthier on his birthday earlier this week for the Anaheim Ducks. So he's been good. He's produced some magic with these over 1.5 goals, and we'll see if it happens again with Arturi Lehkonen here tonight for the Colorado Avalanche for Alex there. All right, Burlow, bargain bin special of the night.
Yeah, and you can catch all my picks for tomorrow tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Rico and Perlo's House of NHL Exotic Picks Frolic. We weren't on last night, and I had people DM me, well, how come you weren't on? Well, because you were on the Betcast.
Because you had the Betcast last night, dummy. That's what you should have done.
Absolutely. We're on the Betcast. The show isn't on when the Betcast is on, because I love all you guys and I love my show, but I like money more. I like money more. And you make money when you're on that Betcast. So we will be on tonight, but it's going to be on Exotic's channel. So go to Exotic Wagers on Twitter and make sure you're subscribed to his channel. So we'll be on his channel tonight. All right. And I got 2 for today as well. Somebody mentioned it in the chat, actually. I'm going to take Krause over 1.5 points today at plus 500. And he hasn't been scoring much, but he has been getting assists. Maybe he'll pot one. And I like Frank. I like Frank in Washington at plus 320. So those are my 2 for today.
All right, good stuff. A capital is mine as well, but not that capital. for one of my two. I have two as well. They're both the late games. The second TNT game, we have to go with Anthony Duclair. He's feeling it right now for the New York Islanders. Anthony Duclair plus 330 for my first bargain bin. And the second one will be the dad bump and the one and only Jacob Chychrun. 2 straight games with a goal for the Washington Capitals. Plus 340 is the best price out there with Jacob Chychrun. So there you have it. 2 bargain bins, both later in the night. Anthony Duclair, New York Islanders, plus 330. Jacob Chychrun, Washington, plus 340 for my 2 Wednesday bargain bin specials of the night. All right, best bets. Alex, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah, liking that first period over with Seattle and the New York Islanders. But now when I see plus 210 for both teams to score in the first, that's a great value in my eyes. So give me the first period, both teams to score with Kraken Islanders, plus 210 at FanDuel. That's my Wednesday best bet.
All right, a little BTTS action. Both teams to score. Islanders Kraken, plus 210, first period for Alex B. Smith with best bet. Perlo, best bet.
I cashed it with the Islanders last time. I'm fading Vancouver until I can. I'm just going to take Washington in regulation as my regular play. And I'm going to go to the one that's been paying me all year long at minus 128. Sergachev over 1.5 shots.
Hard to say that ain't best bet material. What, it's only cashed 20 of the last 21 times for Mikhail Sergachev. Over 1.5 shots on goal on home ice. So there you go. Mikhail Sergachev over 1.5 shots for Perlo's second best bet to go along with that Washington in regulation. All right, my best bet for this Wednesday NHL slate. Let's go with that. I'm going to go say I almost went with Pittsburgh, but I'm not ready to go there yet with Pittsburgh best bet. I do like Pittsburgh quite a bit, but I'm going to play it safe here and just go Anaheim, Colorado over 6.5 minus 130. I think there's goals in that game. Again, Anaheim's 3 straight unders, more a product of Dallas, LA being the opponents. Dallas hadn't been scoring, 1 goal in 3 games when Anaheim played them, and of course LA can't score consistently unless of course they're playing the Rangers and doing it quick last night when they did score 4 goals. But generally, the Kings struggle to score goals. So that suppressed the scoring in Anaheim games. We saw against the Rangers the other night, it get back to another over. 12-4 to the over in the last 16 Anaheim games. It's actually 6-1 to the over, full game over, that is, in the last 7 Colorado home games. So I think we'll see the goals there and it get to 7 minimum. So Ducks, Avs, we'll go with Anaheim, Colorado, over 6.5, minus 130 for my best bet. Shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. We appreciate it very much. Again, a great card coming up tomorrow. Make sure you join us for that. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith and Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.